Welcome back to TurkTalksFC. This is your daily Manchester United roundup where I discuss all the biggest talking points of the last 24 hours in around 10 minutes. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, smash that like button and get involved in the comments. I want to hear from you. Let's get straight into today's roundup. And first of all, Harry Maguire is leaving Manchester United. That is the news coming out in the last 24 hours from the Daily Mirror. They claim that Harry Maguire is expected to leave United on a free transfer next summer. He's out of contract. United are not looking to extend that contract at the moment. And listen, after 7-8 years, many a clutch goal, probably one of the best renaissances in football history from where he was at United to where he is now or where he has been. I think it is the right time. You know, he's 33 in March. United are sort of moving into a new era now. We know the back three. If United want to play a high line, it doesn't really suit Harry Maguire that well. I can definitely see a reality where Harry Maguire leaves. And if he does, United's transfer priority is clear for me. Obviously, we all know a central midfielder is right at the top of the shortlist, but I think a left-sided centre-back is just as important. We didn't sign a centre-back when Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof left in the summer. We made do with what we have, but if Maguire goes, we're going to need a left-sided centre-back or a central centre-back. I've got here Matthias de Ligt as our central centre-back. He's a future United captain, in my opinion. I don't know how he isn't in the leadership team right now, but he should be. Aidan Heaven has played that role before for United. He was also a midfielder growing up, so he can bring the ball out from the central positions. I like him there. Emi Martinez, obviously, hopefully he's back to full fitness by next summer. He's going to be starting at left centre-back if he is, because when he's at his best, he is probably our best centre-back. We need a cover option for him, not just for competition, but to provide cover unless he does get injured once again. And then on the right, obviously, Leny Yoro, Nusayr Mazraoui, we're covered there. We just need a left-sided centre-back to either play centrally or on the left, and I think we'll be sorted. But Harry Maguire looks like he's leaving at the end of the season, and you might notice Luke Shaw isn't there either, because I think it is time to move him on as well. You know, he's been at United for 11 years now, 12 years. It's definitely time to move Luke Shaw on as well. Now, JJ Gabriel, from someone coming to the end of his United career to someone who was right at the start of his football career. If you haven't heard of JJ Gabriel, where have you been? You know, he's been absolutely everywhere. He's only just turned 15. He turned 15 2 days ago, and he's just been absolutely ripping it up for the under-18s this season. You know, 7 goals in the under-18 Premier League, one of the top performers, one of the top performing attackers, and this story is pretty incredible. I don't think you'll ever have heard of this treatment for a 15-year-old player before, so obviously, JJ Gabriel, he's massively rated. Stephen Railson reporting that some United Academy followers suggest that he could be the club's best ever talent coming out of the academy. And United rate him so highly that he has been offered a box at the new Old Trafford, which is planned to be completed by 2030 now. I don't think there's any chance of that happening. The stadium being completed by 2030. I think that's completely unrealistic, to be honest. But the fact that United have sat down with JJ Gabriel and gone, listen, like, you're going to have your own area in our new stadium when he's 14, 15 years old, that's pretty remarkable. He's already signed the most lucrative contract for a 14-year-old with Nike, surpassing that of Neymar at Santos. And it's just crazy. He nearly left United in the summer, actually. United very nearly lost him. An 11th hour meeting between him, Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada, other people at the club at Carrington, convinced him to stay. Because when he was 14, that was the first window where he could have gone to another European club. He has a European passport. There is another window when he's 16. So next year, there's going to be interest. And if United are still lingering, you know, mid-table in the Premier League, he's probably thinking of, you know, it's probably best if I move on. So maybe this is the ultimate power play by United to convince him that his future is at the club. He can be one of the faces of the club. And yeah, just, I find this crazy, you know, 15 years old, getting this sort of treatment. A lot of players have come through the academy and not lived up to the potential whatsoever, but it does feel like JJ Gabriel is sort of that, you know, Max Dowman, even maybe Lamine Yamal level of talent. So it's It's wild. We can't get too excited, he is only 15, but it is exciting. It is. Now, Emi Martinez. This is another pretty interesting story. Manchester United players pushed for Emi Martinez in the summer. That's according to Andy Mitten on the latest Talk of the Devils podcast. Now, when we got to transfer deadline day, all the talk was about a goalkeeper, wasn't it? It was Emi Martinez or Senne Lammens. And at one point, it did seem like Emi Martinez was the goalkeeper United were going for, because he was desperate for a move. He was he waited at Aston Villa's training ground the whole transfer deadline day, waiting for that call. It didn't arrive. There was even reports stating that he asked Lisandro Martinez to put in a good word for him, and he did. But United obviously went with Senne Lammens in the end, and a deal worth an initial £18 million. And listen, even if United players wanted Emi Martinez, if Lammens' performance against Sunderland is anything to go by, I think the United players will be very happy and feel very assured with Lammens in goal, because that debut was quite something, wasn't it? And Emi Martinez, yes, we knew what we were getting with him. Premier League proven, probably less risky, but also a lot older, 10 years older, a lot more expensive as well. I actually, at the time, I was sort of a Martinez. I was leaning towards Martinez just because of that. I didn't want United to make another risk in goal when it was such a fragile position anyway. But if Lammens comes in and does a job and is as good as we hope he is, United have a serious goalkeeper there for the next 10 years. So hopefully this is a case of United scouting, doing the due diligence, and it looks like we have a real goalkeeper, but only time will tell. And finally, big changes in the academy. Now, obviously, the academy is such a huge part of being a Manchester United fan. This is a bit of a blow, actually. So, United's head of academy recruitment, Luke Fedorenko, is leaving the club. He's accepted an offer for a new opportunity at a major football agency. He was in charge of recruitment in the academy for 9 years, and he helped shape the club's youth development. He helped bring in players like Chido Obi, JJ Gabriel, and Bendito Montato, other players included. And it is still, the transition's sort of ending in the first team. We're sort of more settled there now, but it seems like it is just getting started in the academy because Stephen Torpey has just arrived. He is the new head of the academy, replacing Nick Cox. A huge loss for United. He's gone to Everton as their new technical director, but he was the heart and soul of the United Academy setup. He's left. Stephen Torpey has replaced him. He spent 18 months as the academy head at Brentford. Previously, he spent 10 years at Manchester City as a coach. He worked with Jason Wilcox. They know each other very well. And he now has free reign over this academy revamp. There's going to be a new academy structure, and it's exciting. This was part of the Athletics article today. Laurie Whitwell did a good article in the Athletic, and he basically reports that United want to build an academy structure of the matching calibre and style to the first team facility. That is obviously the £50 million training ground that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has bought and invested in, that United have moved into at the start of this season. United want an academy building the same, basically, which is really exciting. We've invested in the women's academy, the women's facilities as well, 7 million revamp of those, and it looks like the academy is getting the same treatment. However, it does seem like there's going to be a bit of a transition period because they're not in the academy were in the main building at Carrington with the first team. They're not there anymore. They've moved into temporary cabins in the players' car park, which isn't ideal, to be honest. I do sort of understand the thinking behind it. I haven't actually put it on, but basically, Ineos wanted the academy players not to be in the main building because they want that to be something that they aspire to and they want to work towards reaching that building. Now, there's 2 academy players who train with the first team every week, and those 2 academy players do get access to the main building. They have their own training, own dressing room in there, and they get to eat with the players, they get to chill with the players. But for the most of the academy players, they do not have access to the main building anymore. They are now in temporary cabins in the players' car park. And yeah, obviously it's not ideal, this whole thing about cost-cutting measures. Really good article by Laurie, actually. Go and check it out. There's a lot of quite worrying details about sort of the lack of staff and the standards that have dropped a little bit because of that, because of these cost-cutting measures. I mean, Wayne Rooney has shared his concerns recently about United losing their identity. He's admitted that the club's issues are making him worried because he has two sons in the United Academy set up, Kai Rooney, Clay Rooney. And yeah, it's fair enough because from what Laurie's article says, it is quite worrying. But obviously, hopefully, it's short-term pain for long-term gain. And if United get a really good academy building and academy structure out of it, then hopefully it will be worth it. And look, as you've just seen, it's not impacting United's performance right now. I mean, the academy teams this season have been brilliant. They've won 11 out of their 12 games combined, top of both leagues. It's been really good to watch. If you don't watch the academy, I would highly recommend it on MUTV. It's brilliant. Like that, it's such an exciting watch. So many good players coming through. United's first team isn't performing right now, really. But the academy so often always sort of makes up for that. And the women's team as well. The women's team are doing very well. They're about to start their first Champions League campaign, so I'd highly recommend tuning in to that as well. But that is today's roundup. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button if you want more. And if you've reached the end, comment the word JJ so I know that you are one of my favourite viewers. All right, that's it. See you tomorrow.